Hey,
Hey,
homies.
homies. Welcome to Homies Who Hike, the podcast that proves distance is just a number when you've got the great outdoors to connect us.
Nothing but good vibes and great memories that come from exploring with your homies. I'm Haley, coming to you from the lush trails of Silverdale, Washington.
And I'm Rhiannon, tuning in from the sun-soaked paths of San Diego, California. Together, we're your long-distance homies who found a way to share our love for hiking as well as talk about the adventures that our lives take us on.
On this podcast, we're bringing you the best of both worlds, the Pacific Northwest's misty mountains and Southern California's coastal landscapes.
So whether you're hiking through evergreen forests or chasing the warmth of the dry desert-like landscapes, we've got your back.
Join us each week as we navigate the challenges of long-distance friendship and explore the beauty of nature one episode at a time.
Expect laughs, lessons, and maybe a little bit of trailside wisdom as we share our experiences from coast to coast.
So, grab your hiking boots, your water bottle, and your sense of adventure because no matter where you are, we're all in this together.
Homies Who Hike is not just a podcast. It's a celebration of friendship, nature, and the incredible trails and tales that connect us all.
Get ready for a hike like no other with your new favorite homies.
Hey, homies, and welcome back to episode 5 of Homies Who Hike. I'm your host, Rhiannon, and I am here with my trailblazing partner in crime and our other head homie host, Haley.
Try saying that 10 times fast.
Today we have a super fun episode in store for all of you, and by fun, I really should be saying a fun guy episode, guys. That is right, today's episode features one of our favorite topics of all, mushrooms. So whether you know them for their magical mystical properties or as the delicious topping on your pizza, not gonna lie, it's not my favorite topping, that is for sure. We have a little something in store for all of you.
That is right, everybody. We are going to be getting into all the different types of mushrooms, the history of mushrooms. Us ourselves, we're going to be learning some new stuff about mushrooms and hopefully teach you guys a little bit of something as well.
Exactly. We are just, I feel like even before I started hiking, I always really liked mushrooms. I thought they were always something like super cute and like aesthetically pleasing. And now just like learning more about them over the years, not even just like for this episode, like over the years, like I've really put in a lot of like personal, I guess, study just because I have so many like wants to figure out ways to maybe like help with like mental health or better ways of like eating, and those are a bunch of different topics that we'll be able to dive a little bit more into once we get started with this episode. So I think that'd be kind of cool to talk about too.
Yeah, definitely. All of the magical mysteries of mushrooms, how they can help you, benefit you, how they could also potentially kill you.
Yeah, that part too. I feel like that's why you really should be studying it when it comes to mushrooms, just because like they pretty, but they're also very, very deadly.
And always, always the prettiest ones end up typically being the most deadly ones.
Typically, I've noticed that like the one that I feel like we always see, the one that everybody is always like pretty much drawn to is that beautiful, yes, the beautiful red and white, or like it's almost like an off-white, like eggshell colored. I'm being way too technical with this. What is it? Mushroom, and we all love those, but those ones are like the most deadly ones.
Yep. Yeah, we will learn all about that kind of stuff and the ones that are safe to eat as well. So if you ever are interested in foraging some mushrooms on your day hike, we will hopefully be able to teach you a thing or two.
Yes, yes.
So first things first, we should cover a little bit of the history of mushrooms. We are going to cover 15 different facts that we saw and found out about mushrooms. Number one being that fungi are genetically closer to humans than plants. Isn't that interesting?
It's kind of crazy if you think about it, because like doing like the little bits of research and everything that you can do, like mushrooms breathe. That's
Yeah,
insane. Like what on
yeah,
earth? Like it's crazy. So to think that we're related to a plant that literally grows from shit,
yeah,
like it's kind of crazy.
yeah. It is wild. I mean, you can find mushrooms in many other things other than poo. but that is, of course, one of the places that you will find them.
I'm sorry, that fact when I found out about it, I was all like, I'm making sure I don't eat that one. That one we're gonna stay far, far away from.
You know, manure is manure at the end of the day.
Yeah, but I don't want it like directly growing out of it, okay? Like at least when it goes with other plants, it's like mixed with soil and stuff. Mushrooms are like,
Yeah.
nah, we just growing straight from it. Like, no, thank you. I'm a little
Yep.
much, guys. I apologize. But like that's I just looked at it
We
and I went,
only like our mushrooms to come from the finest of things found in the forest.
and shit ain't one of them.
Good on that.
No, thank you.
All
All
right.
right.
Number 2 is fungi are the largest life forms on Earth.
Really? I didn't actually know that.
So can grow and expand for miles under the ground as they go in search of food. So
Oh,
their
that's
physical
crazy.
size that you see above the ground might not physically look that large, although you can find clusters of mushrooms that are all connected together that can get very, very large. It's the
Mhm.
rooting system that they put underground to go find food that can make them as big as they are.
Yeah, it's like an iceberg. Like you can only see like a tip of it and you think, "Oh, that's not that big." And then down below you're like, "Whoa, that thing is massive." Like it
Yeah.
stretches for miles.
Yeah, that is definitely interesting.
That's that's super
Something
super
so
cool.
small, potentially having something larger than us underneath the ground.
Well, it's kind of a cool way of also, if you think about it, like thinking about life, like you may think you have something small, but if you really like nurture it and let it grow and like, fester almost, then
Hmm.
it can become something so much bigger than what you could have ever imagined it to be. So I think that's really
Totally.
cool.
Yeah, totally.
Be a
Moving on.
mushroom, guys.
Be a mushroom. We're already so closely related to them anyways.
Might as well.
Yeah. All right, number 3 is fungi allow trees to talk to each other.
That's really cool. That's super cool.
Let's see if we can figure out how. They
I was
have
gonna
a
say.
symbiotic relationship with host trees and plants. The fungi interact with the plant roots and provide nutrients, giving simple sugars in return.
Oh,
So
that's
it's like a
super cool.
mailman
I
for
was
the
gonna say,
trees.
like, they're like, here you go, you are welcome. And they're like, thanks, bro. Or no,
Yeah,
thanks, homie.
yeah, homies. We're
I
homies
had a
around
soda.
here, not brothers.
We don't do brothers, we don't do buddies, we don't do besties, it's homies or nothing else, okay?
Yep. All right, number 4, mushrooms can stay dormant for years. I wish I could do that.
Same. Same. Can I just take a
Just
nap?
be
Like
like, I'm going in hibernation. I'll catch you in like 5 years.
I'm gonna look the same. I'm gonna look prestique, okay, but I need a nap, so bye. That's
Yeah.
kind of cool, actually. I didn't know that. That's really, really cool.
I mean, if we're so closely related to them, then why don't we? I feel like I
Well,
could just lay in my bed for days on end anyways.
well, what if we could? Why do we have all those crazy movies where it's like we can preserve you for thousands of years and move you from one planet to the other, and then you're gonna kick it and be 20 years old, but in reality, you're like 50 million, bitch, and it's like, what? Like, what if we can be
Yeah,
preserved? What if they use mushrooms to preserve our bodies so that we can travel from one space? There's a lot. I'm going way too deep into this, but like the
I feel like mushrooms
possibilities.
have been around for so long and have been used for so long that if that was a possibility, you'd think that they maybe would have figured that out already.
Again, there's a lot we you would think we would figure out, like the bottom
Very
of the
true. Flying
ocean.
cars, where you at?
For reals, I watched The Terminator yesterday. There was a lot, and I was like looking at the date for that. I'm like, that's in 5 years. We ain't anywhere close to that. We better not be, because
Mm-mm.
also aside from the technology, shit was on fire and I did not like it. So I'm good on all that.
Well, that's why we just need to go move in the middle of nowhere. So if
Yeah.
all hell breaks loose, we will have our little
We will hide in the
sanctuary.
trees.
Yeah.
You can't find me in the trees.
Just like the mushrooms, except depending on the season, you can find them.
Otherwise, they are everywhere.
Which is a really awesome and easy way to find a certain type of mushroom, brings us to number 5, that some mushrooms glow in the dark.
Are you serious? That is so cool. I think, wait. I think I have seen them. They're like little green, tiny little mushrooms.
Yeah,
They're so freaking cute.
super cute.
Oh,
We can throw up a picture of them right here, but they're adorable. Let's go on to number 6. There is a mushroom that devours itself when picked.
that's
Yeah. Imagine being like,
crazy.
you can't have me, no one can have me. I am going to have myself. Thank you very much.
Just like you want to take me, well, I'm gonna take myself. I
Yeah.
love that. That's cool though. I know I saw like in a lot of like the studying and stuff that there were some like that they can some of them can change colors or like a
Like a
lot of them can
defense
go,
thing for them.
yeah, like a way to make it to be where they're like not appetizing looking. Like some of them turn blue I've seen. So I was
Yeah,
like,
they're like,
that's
you take a
pretty
bite of me, you're
cool.
gonna die.
And you're like, yeah,
Warning
you're
you.
not wrong. Stop it.
I'm giving you a warning.
Blue, bitch. Blue means no.
Yeah. Well, we'll see
Does
if
not
that's
mean go.
true.
Blue means I'm gonna put you to sleep. You gonna go to
Maybe.
bed forever.
Okay, moving on to number 7, though, is the opposite of mushrooms that are trying to kill us. Mushrooms help fight age-related diseases.
Oh yes, I think was it dementia
Hmm.
or Alzheimer's? I'm not entirely sure which one it was, but they were saying that lion's mane is actually
Hmm.
very good for helping fight against, maybe not fight against, but like it kind of like helps.
Slows
It's
the
like a preventable.
process.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I know it helps a lot with memory and also depression as well.
Yes,
So,
as somebody who actually does use lion's mane for depression, it is very, very helpful. If you do it in small
yes.
doses, it can be very beneficial for your mental health. As somebody, like I said, who uses it, I definitely felt its healing properties. But again, always be with any kind of mushroom, poisonous or non-poisonous, just to remember to, you know, do all
Do
your
your
research.
research.
And be sure you're with somebody that you feel comfortable with if you are going to be doing it.
Most definitely. Moving on to number 8, scientists have classified 2,189 mushrooms as edible.
That's insane.
So if there's that many mushrooms out there that we know are for sure edible, you better not be going out there and picking the wrong one.
Mm-mm. No, and it's
Plenty of
really
other
easy.
homey mushrooms out there for you to eat.
There are some homies that are not so good to eat, and there's some homies that are so good to eat. And there's
Mhm.
apparently a fuck ton of them. 2,189 of them, apparently.
Yes, that's a lot.
That is a lot. Oh my
Um,
goodness.
and I did read something else. I don't think I added it in here, but like the 3 different kind of mushrooms that you see at a grocery store, like portobello and a couple of different ones, they all have different names, but they're the exact same mushroom. They might just be
Really?
like shaped differently or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I can understand that because some mushrooms you'll think it's one of them and then it completely is an entirely different one. And it just depends on like the smallest little detail. Like you have to be very careful when,
Hmm.
doing mushroom foraging, any kind of foraging, really, if you are going to be foraging any wild foods. But
Berries.
mm-hmm, some
Hmm.
berries you think are like, oh, that's a blackberry. It's like, no, it is not a blackberry. I don't know what kind of berry it is, but it's going to be a deathberry in a second. So,
Oh, yeah. Or make you lean over a toilet for a few days type berry.
which might make you want to wish it was a deathberry at some point.
Yeah.
Why did you pick
For
it?
sure. Okay. Next one, number 9, something super cool that I had never heard before in my entire life. And why haven't we started using this as a regular thing? Mushrooms can turn plastic into food. How is that possible? I have no idea why. What does it taste like? No idea. I kind of want to try it. I don't know how you would go like
Huh.
approach that, but yeah.
Maybe it would give it like a
We
meaty taste, considering a lot of the times when you cook a mushroom, they actually, which was probably why we're really related closely to them, because when you cook them, they usually are compared to meat,
oh yeah.
not anything like vegetable-y.
Oh yeah. Button, cremini, and portobello are all the same mushroom. That's what it
Oh,
was.
really?
Okay, mushrooms can turn plastic into food. Scientists discovered the first fungus that could digest polyurethane plastic in 2011 and another in 2017. Since then, they have discovered more than 50 types of mushrooms that can digest and break down different types of plastics. So is the fungus the food after that process? Is it just saying that they can just eat plastic instead of making the plastic edible? I don't really get that. Okay.
Maybe it breaks it down. Like I
Maybe.
know that like when they use like paper or like I've seen people use some crazy stuff to like harvest mushrooms or like to like grow them. And maybe instead of like using like a paper material, they use the plastic and it just kind of like grows off of that and that's how it makes it edible, maybe? I'm not sure.
Maybe. We'll have to look more into that one day.
Mhm.
Number 10, the death cap mushroom is one of the deadliest organisms on Earth.
But with a name like that, I would hope so, because
The death
that's
cap.
it sounds like something that, the Grim Reaper wears when he goes out to a baseball game. Like
Wow.
I had to, didn't dad joke. But for reals, he be putting that shit backwards. He's like, batter up, bitch, let's go.
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
Um, I mean, I believe it. I feel like you'd think, oh, there's predatorial animals out there. How can a mushroom be more scary than that? But that mushroom could probably very easily kill those animals if they just ingest it.
Well, that's how I feel
So,
like some of the cutest animals are like that too. Like some of the cutest frogs, like the most brightest, beautiful frogs that you
if
see,
friend
and like
shaped, why not friend?
it's like, no, you touch that and you're a goner. Like you have to be really, really careful. Like the cutest things are usually the most terrifying.
Yeah,
They
for me,
have
it's
to,
bears. I would just
right?
love to give a bear a hug.
It's really
Oh my
concerning,
God,
Woody.
actually, I just saw the other day, it was a video of a koala bear. It was like a big group of people standing around, and this koala bear singled out this toddler. It was like, I'm coming for you. You think I'm gonna come give you a hug, but no, I'm gonna bite your leg.
Don't they have herpes?
Yeah, that's what all
Oh,
the comments were
nah.
saying. So the kid got bit and was like, the koala was like latching onto it, and the parents had like the slowest reaction to get the koala taken off the kid. They were just
No,
like,
thank
they're
you.
playing.
They're not playing. That is attacking your child. Make it stop. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that was literally going through my brain. I was like, I can't watch this.
I don't think I would freak out. I'd be like, y'all need to remove me. This is dangerous.
They were just kind of trying to pull it off the kid. I was like, kick the thing in the head at that point.
For reals, like just dink. No,
Like
thank you. I'm
I
sorry.
come on.
It
Anything to save
just
that kid.
Haley's like, this is how we're gonna start it with this facial expression. Hey,
Oh, I'm tired. Okay.
me too, buddy. Me too. It's like my fourth cup of coffee today. I was like, I need all of the caffeine.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I had Dutch Bros earlier today, and now I'm on to this one.
I was so jealous. You're like my view back from Dutch Bros. I'm like, I want Dutch Bros. I love Dutch Bros.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a luxury for sure. Not having to go to a Starbucks.
Ugh. Yeah, I'm pretty done with Starbucks.
I mean I like Starbucks, but A, it costs more. B, there's less drinks there that I would get. Like Dutch Bros, I can find a new drink every single time I go, and they will typically be good every single
I just
time.
feel like they have more options too, and they're like
And that
really fun.
Well, that and then also like Starbucks, if they don't make it how you're used to it being made, people make it differently, or sometimes they don't ask you, you want sweetener in that? So they don't put sweetener in that when obviously I want freaking sweetener in that.
I'm
And then it
ordering
comes out
something
tasting
that's like
disgusting.
basically half sugar. Like, you really think I don't want sweetener in it? Put it in there,
Yeah.
okay?
Like the
Ugh.
peach green tea lemonade. Oh, and that's the other thing is all of the drinks that I like from Starbucks, not all of them, but most of them are seasonal. So the peach green tea
Mm.
lemonade, they only carry peach like 4 months out of the year.
Because you're not a coffee fan. So like when you go to Dutch Bros, what do you even get? I was thinking
Rebel.
about that. Oh yeah. But which one though?
So my favorite is the Dino Egg Rebel. Let me pull up exactly what's in it. But I get it with watermelon soft top. So good.
Ooh. What the fuck is a soft top? I'm sorry.
Soft top, it's like cold foam, kind of, but it's better.
Oh,
It's way
okay.
better.
I'm gonna have to
People
try
prefer
that.
soft top over any of the other kind of like foam topping that any other places have done from what I've seen so far.
Hmm.
So the Dino Egg one, blue raspberry with strawberry, white chocolate, and almond drizzle.
Ooh, that sounds good.
And I get it blended, and it's so good. It's like
Does Frankie
blue.
get the same shit or does he get coffee?
He gets coffee. He
Yeah.
gets a couple different, like when we first moved here and we used to go, he used to get one called the Golden Eagle, which a lot of
Mhm.
people I know get that one. There's also one called the 911. It has like 8 shots of espresso.
Oh God, no. I was just
Yeah.
asking. Yeah.
But they also have protein coffee, and he said that it actually tasted really good. So yeah, they have
Hmm.
a lot of options. And then you can like get flavored soft top on any of their drinks. And
Even
you
on
can
the
make the soft
coffee?
top. Yeah, and you can make the soft top almost any flavor that you want. So if you want to do like a white chocolate kind of coffee and then do like a raspberry soft top,
That's
that sounds good.
crazy.
Hmm.
That sounds like an interesting combination. That sounds like one of those like little desserts that you can get like one of those like baked ones. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm drooling at the thought of it.
Yeah.
That sounds really
Yeah.
good.
Dutch Bros, I mean, it has a lot of sugar in it, probably compared to most Starbucks drinks, but Starbucks drinks still have a lot of sugar. So it's like, you might as well get the better drink anyways.
Yeah, exactly. And enjoy yourself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay, well, back to mushrooms. Dutch Bros, you need to
Away
make a
from
mushroom
coffee.
drink.
For
Yeah.
reals, and we will drink
Okay,
it and we
well,
will hate it.
actually, though, a company reached out to me a long time ago that I would have collaborated with, but I don't drink coffee, is Rise. Have you seen
Ooh, no, I have not. I'm gonna have to check them out.
RYZE, and it's mushroom infused coffee. They might make tea too, so
Oh,
if they make tea, I would definitely try it, but yes, it's mushroom based coffee.
well, definitely. I'll definitely have to look it up, and maybe if we can get our hands on some coffee, or if they do make any tea, maybe we can do a review in the future. I think that'd be a lot of fun because I am
Totally.
a coffee drinker.
Yeah, I mean, imagine like when you guys come up here or we go camping one day, you could like make a campfire coffee with some mushroom coffee.
I I already have plans. I have like a ton of audios and like videos that I have like ideas for where all I want to do is have a mug, even if I have to put that shit in a thermos and in a backpack and like when we go on a hike and do it. But I
Well, you could
just
get like one of the little like thermos mugs. Like it's
mhm.
metal, but it's in the shape of a mug still.
I just want to be able to hold it, drink coffee, and look out at like a lake or some like a shit ton of trees and be like, "This is what I've been waiting for." Because that's all I want. I just want to drink coffee and look at trees and green
Yep,
things. It'd be
it's a vibe.
idealistic. It is
Yeah.
it is a vibe. It's a Washington vibe.
Yes. The gloomy girl vibe.
Yes, it's the only one I know.
We are the gloomy
Gloomies,
girls, the gloomy homies.
but it's not as super inviting, but we're really nice.
It's a good kind of gloom, okay?
We just with the gloom that's also I have nothing for it. We're just gloomy. But anyway, number 11.
Yes, number 11. Okay, so this one's cute. Mushrooms create fairy rings. What a fairy
Oh,
ring is let's pull this up here. Fairy rings are naturally occurring circles of mushrooms that appear year after year in grassy areas and woodlands. For
I've
thousands of
seen
years, different
those.
cultures have been fascinated by fairy rings, and they are the subject of many folklores and myths, but there is a scientific explanation. The spores of a certain mushroom land in a suitable location, they germinate, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce that word. It's what they grow from.
Hmm.
Mycelium, something like that,
Oh, yeah. I know what you're
grows
talking about.
outwards from the center, which creates that fairy ring.
That is so
But we
cool.
can,
I've definitely seen those before. They're really cute.
Yeah, we could throw in some pictures here too, so they know what we're talking about, but
Yes.
fairy rings.
How cute. I love
Okay.
fairy stuff.
Yes. I feel like fairies and mushrooms, they kind of go hand in hand. So do
They really
toads
do, though.
and toadstool, which toadstool and mushrooms are the exact same thing, I guess.
Well, they actually are called toadstools because a lot of mushrooms are poisonous and a lot of frogs are poisonous, and they usually are kind of in similar areas. So they just called them toadstools.
Poison homies.
Yep. They're like, we sit together and we kill together.
Yes. It's like,
We
hey,
are
I can't
cute.
move, but you can move. So first you go and attack. And if you don't work out, then there's always me.
I will thrive anyway.
Yeah.
That's the cool thing about mushrooms. Even if you like take a mushroom, pick it up or smash it and like throw it like anywhere in the woods, like mushrooms will literally thrive anywhere. It's actually really a
Mhm.
good way of if you wanting to like what is it? I don't know the technical term for them, but if you wanted to like grow or harvest more, like just throwing them out in the woods, they'll survive.
Yeah, I think that's actually, I don't know if that's a note that I added, but I definitely read that when doing this research was that you don't need to have like a super special setup for growing mushrooms at home. You could literally grow mushrooms off of a piece of plastic, like we've learned
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, they're really, really versatile, or maybe that's not the word for it, but they figure their shit out.
That's true. Okay, moving on to number 12. More than 350 million years ago, there were giant mushrooms on Earth, which is so mind-boggling to me. Imagine, like, it's giving Alice in Wonderland, you know?
Or like
Like,
Mario,
imagine walking around and seeing mushrooms taller than you.
I would freak out. I'd be like, I'm
Yeah,
sorry, what is that? But I mean, back
yeah.
in the day, that must have been like, are you talking about way before people? You said how many years ago?
350 million years ago. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
probably.
insane. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things if you think about it that back in the day that we never even came close to knowing. Like, I'm pretty sure there's so much stuff about Earth that was here before and like crazy stuff that was growing that even scientists haven't even tapped into yet, and we're just barely discovering. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah,
Can't
we're
believe we
getting a
lived
little
in a
bit back
Mario
into
world.
our last episode with our conspiracy theories with aliens and what we don't know about the water and the space and
We're gonna need a conspiracy corner. We're gonna be like, okay, guys, welcome to conspiracy time. Like,
Shane
this is
Dawson,
what
we're
the
taking over.
step aside, homie. I know you's the daddy, but the mommies are in town now.
Yeah.
Okay, we got this. We know what we talking
Uh,
about,
yeah.
or maybe not. I
Okay.
don't know. I pause a lot, and then we have to like
I
research shit.
mean,
But
conspiracies are theories. They're all theories. So whether we know what we're talking about or we don't, can you prove us wrong?
exactly, because you can't prove
Probably
yourself
not.
wrong either, or right, motherfucker.
Oh
Okay,
boy.
what's
All
the
right.
next one?
Yeah, moving on to number 13, people used mushrooms 5,300 years ago. And originally it was more for medicinal use, using it in medicine. To this day, I hear a lot of people try to carry on a lot of medicinal uses that Native Americans used them for, such as like clearing congestion or just overall health. There's just been a lot coming through in TikTok with all of that kind of stuff because I feel like as the world feels like it's slowly coming to an end and everybody's convinced that everything the government has made us is toxic, people are starting to go back to more natural roots. And what's
Mhm.
more natural than our OG homie, the mushroom?
Exactly. Well, I've seen some of them where even it's like if you're out and about, like if you're on a hike or if you get like lost in the woods and you happen to cut your finger, one of nature's band-aids is if you take a mushroom and you cut a little sliver off of it and you wrap it around it or you put it as a band-aid, it will not only is it like a just like a natural, like it'll keep it clean, but it will also be like it's like almost like a neosporin, like it'll like
Yeah, like an
actually clean
antibiotic
it.
kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy if you think about like all the little things that you can do with like stuff like that.
Just what you have around you. But people are convinced, oh, there's dirt on it. That means that it's bad and gross.
I'm like, yeah, you have no problem drinking that soda, don't you, honey? And I can't
Hmm.
even pronounce like half the words that are on that bottle.
Oh yeah. I mean, more than just soda, even like kids' snacks. What is it?
Yeah.
That that red dye that is so toxic to
Oh
everyone that's in
gosh.
Gatorade.
Yeah, and everybody's like, no, you can't drink that. And I'm like, but
They're
that
like,
one
it
tastes
causes
so good.
cancer, but we've been using it for over 100 years. So
It's like, you know what? Me stepping outside and breathing just kind of causes cancer at this point. Like, let me live. But like, no, I totally understand. There's a lot more natural alternatives to not just even like medicine, but food and like different ways of like just household product. Like really, honestly, there's like a lot of ways of going around having to use, the stuff that I guess like we're used to, like all the chemicals and the unnatural dyes and just unnecessary things. Like, um, me and Haley have a project that we're looking to do in the future. Eventually, you guys may hear about it, but we're not entirely sure yet. Um, but like even with that project, I've been looking into like little things that are like all natural or different ways of doing certain things, and it's like it's a lot of work, but it's worth it because at the end of the
yeah.
day, like you're not having to put all of these unknown things. Like we said, I can't even pronounce half of the stuff that are on half of these things. So it's like might as well go the natural route.
Well, yeah, I mean, going that way, it might be extra work, but at the end of the day, is not only better for us, but it's better for the planet as well. I've
Yeah.
seen a lot of things talking about paper made from mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
like
I've seen that
that could
actually.
be, and how it's much more like biodegradable than the plasticky paper that we use on a day to day.
Mm-hmm. More
So,
biodegradable, and it also lasts longer too. It's more durable
mhm.
and more like, I don't know. It's actually, I've been watching like the process of making paper. It's actually really cool and a lot of fun to do. Like I think like I want to make like a project with my boys to teach them how to make paper, honestly, because it's a really cool thing to do. Like just you might as well, when the
It would
world
be
ends, you
really
gotta know how to do
cool
stuff
if
like that.
like once we start our like clothing and all of that kind of stuff, if all of the thank you cards we put out were with mushroom paper.
Oh yeah, like all of those things that I keep sending you, like if we foraged or like gathered flowers
Hmm.
from our states and then put them into like
Well,
our
you can
tags or something
even
like that.
embed like wildflower seeds into the paper so you can plant the whole paper itself and
Like your wedding invitations.
Mhm.
I
Yep.
did that with one of your wedding invitations. It grew for a little bit and then I forgot to water it and it died. But if I would have been on it, it's okay. There's a lot of other plants that did not survive. Succulents, I have learned, are my thing. It's because you can forget about those ones.
This type of
See?
plant is my plant homie. I can neglect this child so much and it will just continue to thrive. This
I
isn't the
noticed that
same
with
one
you.
that I had at my last apartment. This is a brand new one that I got when we moved here,
Really?
and it grows so fast.
You
It's
did good with
wild.
the last ones at your old apartment though too. I
They
remember
get
they were
so
beautifully.
long, so
Yeah,
long. It's wild.
like you were having like issues. You're like, I don't know, I need to trim this one because it's getting so big. That's how well you do
Yeah, they
with
get
those
heavy.
plants.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think once we like eventually have a home, I would love to get those little clips that you just stick on the walls so you can actually have it grow up the walls and stuff too.
I've seen these things that are basically like clips, but if you have like staircase or whatever, you can like put them into like the area of the staircase, like the bars or whatever, and you can just like have like plant holders going up your staircase. I think that
Oh,
would be
that's
really cool,
cool. Yeah, that's
right?
super cool.
Very
I
pretty
like
and
that.
mystical, right?
Yeah. Okay, back to mushrooms. Enough about plants. It's not about you guys today. We will have an
Not
episode
about
on you
you.
later.
You're pretty, but step aside, honey.
Okay, actually, really quick though, talking about plants. Have you seen that video of the fern that's like waving to a lady and the lady waves back at it, and once she waves back at it, it just goes still again?
No, what in the Groot are you watching?
Well, I'll send it to you later, and maybe we can
Yeah.
add it here if I'm able to find it. But some people, I don't know, my mom is convinced that it's animatronic, like maybe they saw that like Indiana Jones area or something like that. But I was like, that looked like they were just walking through the redwood forest. I don't know what animatronics they would have out there, but okay. Like the
Oh my
plant was
goodness.
literally waving, like one single leaf. Nothing else around it was moving, like it wasn't windy. And then the second that she waved back, it just went still.
It's really, really cool, but I hope no vegetarians see that because then they're going to be like, we can't eat
Well,
anything
now what do
anymore.
we eat? Yeah.
You could eat air, honey. I'm so sorry. Everything
Yeah.
breathes. Oh my gosh.
Okay, moving on to number 14. You can grow mushrooms on recycled cardboard, which is literally what we were just talking about not that long ago. You don't have to have a super cool, special, expensive setup to grow mushrooms. You could just get some cardboard wet, get what you need for your mushroom kit, and do the dang thing at home.
Exactly. They thrive on almost anything. So
Yeah,
very,
the
very
shittier the better.
literally. You could just, I won't get too graphic, but like toilet might be perfect area.
Just don't clean your toilet for like 8 months straight and you're Gucci.
Visuals. No.
Yeah. We wouldn't be able to hang. We can go and do the cardboard method, but if you want some
No.
prime shrooms, just take it to the toilet.
This is not advice. I'm just letting you guys know. We did not suggest this. You just no. Anyway, number 15.
Number 15. Ancient Egyptians reserved mushrooms for royalty. This gave mushrooms the name food for the gods.
Oh,
Or
that's
of
really
the
cool.
gods. Food of the gods, for the gods. Same thing, I guess.
Same stuff. That's
But
so
yeah,
cool though. Well, I know
they
that
were
there was
like,
a
it
lot
is a
of food.
delicacy.
Yeah, they were like, this is only for you. Like, I think chocolate was another one of them that was like, there's very limited things. Like, even there was like colors that only royalty could really wear, like purples and like, I think red was another one of them or something like that. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of crazy. I didn't know. Now, mushrooms were also one of those that were in the foods of the gods. That's really cool. Well, it makes sense though, with all
Yeah.
of its healing properties. They were all like, this really just needs to be in there.
Yeah.
Well, those were some really cool facts about mushrooms. We titled that little segment History of Mushrooms. Honestly, I know Haley said in the beginning that we both did that, but I'm not going to lie. Haley was the historian for this segment. She really dug deep and pulled all of that really fun stuff out for all of you guys. I felt like a kid in a history or in a science class. I was all like dumbfounded by half of the stuff that was on there, and I'm all like having to pretend I know what she was talking about. I didn't know absolutely anything, but that's okay. But
Okay, I didn't know most of it coming since last night either, so.
Yeah, we kind of, I mean, we know a lot about mushrooms, but for this episode, we really kind of just wanted to brush up on all of our knowledge. And to be honest, I felt like I didn't know anything when I was learning about them last night and the night before, like going into some of the stuff. I was like, wow, it's kind of really crazy how much they really can do. You know what I mean? So as you guys can clearly see, there's at least 15 fucking things that they could do, and I'm pretty sure the list goes longer. So
yeah, like them eating themselves when they feel threatened.
yeah, that's a lot. Like you, it's just almost as traumatizing as when bunnies decide to like KO themselves when they're scared. Like
That's literally what was going through my brain. I was like, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. See, we homies think alike. In really dark ways. Like we really are the gloomy homies, aren't we?
We are indeed.
Oh, we need to make shirts with that saying gloomy homies, and we can put like a raindrop cloud or something like that.
I was gonna say like the font could be like puffy clouds.
That'd be cute. That'd be really cute. Watch out for that merch coming soon.
Whenever that does happen.
We'll be dropping it just like that rain. But anyway.
Just like the rain down in San Diego.
Oh my God, do not even go near that. That was terrifying.
Flash flood warning.
Wow, why did you sound just like that bitch? That thing was like identical. Oh my God. Oh, it gave me PTSD for a second. I can say that I have that, but oh my goodness. Oh, yeah.
Actually, I did hear that you guys were going to get flooded again tomorrow. So
they were saying something about rain this weekend.
good luck with that.
But I don't know. You never know with San Diego because they were
Yeah.
all telling us that it was going to be rainy and stuff this weekend, and it was all sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. So like, they
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?
like down the street from where we live, people's cars, like somebody that my mom actually works with, her car literally was floating down University. Like, I was like, no.
Saw videos of like cars on top of other cars,
It's like, y'all
fences
really
that
don't know how to
wiped
drive.
out like a whole street of cars. Well, it's because the flooding just brought the car up so high and then brought it down the road. So once the water settled, the car landed on top of another car.
That's insane. Yeah, no, I was showing Mike, for those who don't know, my boyfriend, his some of the videos that you were sending me, and he's like, I know where that street is. I drive down that street for work all the time. Oh my gosh. Like, and
Yeah.
luckily the day that it was like really, really bad in the area that I was showing him, for example, I'll show you guys, we'll pop it up on the screen really quickly. He was like, yeah, I drive down that street like all the freaking time. And I'm like, yeah, that's like you can't see the car underneath it. Like that's so much
Yeah.
water. That's insane. I can't imagine.
Well, the whole Encanto trolley area, I think, got wiped out, and that's like not far away from where my parents live. I know my parents' backyard
Really?
got super flooded, but I think even
They're
when we
kind of on a
just get
hill though,
like,
right?
they are, but just like the way the backyard is set up, certain areas in the
Mm.
backyard gets flooded, even when it's not like flooding amounts of rain. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, I've been seeing people from our high school post saying that they had to leave their apartment because of flooding and now they're in hotels and they have no idea when they will be able to move back.
Yeah, no, I've seen a
Ever.
lot of people. Yeah, no, and it's kind of crazy. Like, luckily, where I live, we live pretty much on a hill. I've never really lived in an area of San Diego where I've ever had to deal with flooding. That is something that's kind of normal here when we do get rain and we get a lot of rain. That is definitely an issue that we have. But like, I've never experienced that. And to see how like extremely damaging it can be to people is just, it's devastating. Like, a lot of it, it's just like, what are you supposed to do? Because like
Yeah.
there's no way of stopping it. It's water's gonna
Oh
get
yeah.
in if water wants to get in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
it's
it's
just
gonna happen quick too. Like it's
very
not a
quickly.
slow moving process. Yeah.
No, I watched one video where it was like, oh, we have like this much water, and then they like went to go open a door or something like that just to go see, and it was like, okay, now we have a foot of water in our house. Like,
Yeah.
really, really, really sad stuff.
Well, pray for San Diego, everyone.
Please, I'm still here, so please help a homie out and pray for a homie, please.
All right. And a huge shout out to our homies at the Melting Forest for sending me a couple of different products. This is the second time that I have worked with them. The first time they sent me these balance mushroom gummies. They're so great. They have reishi, lion's mane, cordyceps, and Trodia mushroom extracts, and they help with things like mind clarity, depression, anxiety, and overall stress, and just feeling a little bit better throughout your day. Another one that they recently sent me that I have been super excited to try, I will be having one tonight, is the sleep gummies. They have a few of other mushrooms in here included with melatonin. I guess that's the sleep
Oh, okay,
property.
cool.
Yeah, along with these delicious drinks that I am very excited to try. We have a energy drink right here in a mango guava flavor, and the
Mhm.
de-stress drink, which is strawberry lavender. That sounds so delicious.
Yeah, it
So
does.
thank you, Melting Forest, for all of these amazing mushroom treats and relaxation gummies and drinks. I don't know what to say other than thank you so much. So we hope to collab with them in the future and keep this partnership going, and been very happy with everything that I've tried with them so far. So thank you, Melting Forest.
Yes, thank you, Melting Forest. That looks all so delicious.
And if you would like to try any of these products from the Melting Forest, be sure to use my code DOPNW10 to get 10% off at checkout. You won't want to miss out on this opportunity because these have been a life changer.
All right, guys. So I have a very fun segment for you guys. It's kind of a little bit of something that we already do on this channel, but we are renaming it for this episode, and it is called Rhiannon's Fungi Finds. So basically, it's just our homies react. But instead, I took over for this episode, and we're just going to be showing you some of the videos that I found on TikTok that are mushroom related. Some of the topics actually are some of the things that we've already talked about on or a little bit earlier, but you guys now have a visual, which I think will be kind of cool. And to join me will be my little buddy Shroomy. Say hello, Shroomy. This is going to be really weird for everybody, but like I said, I love mushrooms, so Shroomy will be helping me present Rhiannon's Fungi Finds. All right, now on to clip 1. Alrighty, so our first video is be coming at you guys from, and I'm probably gonna butcher her name, but I'll just give you her at it. It's Plant You on TikTok. She is a NYT best-selling cookbook author. I don't know what NYT is. I'm not gonna lie to all of you, but I thought that she could give us a really fun video on something that I really, really want to try, and I think will be really fun for all of you guys to watch. Next slide.
This is a mushroom. It's called a puffball mushroom, and yes, you can eat it. Puffballs grow all across North America in the early fall and are commonly found in farmers' fields and golf courses. After 3 hours of hunting, my dad and I foraged ours from a forest and got to work. After slicing, cleaning, and confirming that it was indeed a puffball with this like perfectly opaque center, we removed that outer.
It looks like bread.
Yeah,
It looks like fluffy angel bread.
And you can make bread out of it. You could use it for pizza crust. You can use it to make steaks. It's very versatile. But you do have to be careful. So the really cool thing about puffballs is, like she said, they are edible, but they're only edible when they are fully white on the inside. Now, if you do find a puffball and you open it and the puffball does look yellow, or even has like just a little bit of yellowing in like one corner, don't eat them. They're not good anymore. But you can break them up, and like we said earlier on, if you wanted to throw them out into the wild, they'll just make more puffballs. So that's always something that you can do with not so good puffballs. But yeah, they're supposed to be really, really good. Substitute if you're not like, if you want to do some gluten-free, or if you like want to like a really good juicy steak, that's another alternative. And I think they're really cool. There's definitely something that when we do go mushroom foraging that I definitely want to look for, because they just look so interesting.
I have never seen those out here.
Oh,
I've definitely seen big mushrooms, but I haven't seen something that big. That's huge.
Yeah, they come in so many different sizes, but they're really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
Let's
back
go
to the
ahead
video
and-
really quick.
Yeah.
Raised in some vegan butter and garlic. It was a little rubbery. Next, we tried breading in aquafaba and some crispy breadcrumbs, and then baking those for about half an hour and tossing in Frank's Red Hot sauce. This was puffball perfection. It had like a delicious fried chicken type texture and was honestly delicious.
So like I said, very, very good for like pretty much anything. To be honest, it can be kind of like a hit or miss when it comes to food anyways, whenever you're cooking.
Yeah.
I know earlier today I tried to make coffee whipped cream and realized that you can't just put coffee into a heavy whipping cream and sugar, because it will separate and look really gross. It will make whipped cream, but just a effed off looking version of it. So like it's really an up and down when it comes to cooking, but I think that's something that's really cool. I know we talked about how, you know, mushrooms, aside from being really good for like your mental health or used as in a medicine, they're really good for cooking, and that's like one of the ways you can.
That's awesome.
Right.
I liked that, but I just don't know if I'd personally try it.
I really want to try it. The problem is I am very willing to try things. I'm just very picky when it comes to food. So I just
Well,
don't know
that's
if
the
I'd like
thing.
it.
Like the second that she said rubbery texture, I was like, yeah, no, I'm out.
Yeah, no, I saw it. As soon as she said that, your face where you looked, you're like, oh, I'm disappointed. You're like, I
Yeah.
didn't want to hear that.
I mean, it's kind of what I expected, but
Yeah. Well, because
I'm a
it does kind
big
of look
like
like
texture
styrofoam.
weirdo. Yeah, I'm a big texture
Yeah.
weirdo when it comes to food. Like if it's not a texture that I'm used to or okay with, it's not happening.
No, I feel you. I'm really weird when it comes to food in general. So I totally get that.
Yeah.
All right. Our next video comes from Hunter Actor or at Hunter Actor on TikTok. He's a professional actor, hunter, and forager. So he's another forager here on TikTok. And like I was saying, puffballs come in many shapes and sizes, but he's going to be teaching us about something that may look like a puffball, but something you may not want to necessarily dig into, if that makes any sense.
Got it.
Here's a mushroom tip that could save your life. This is a destroying angel in its most dangerous state. At this state, people will confuse it with a puffball mushroom, which is edible. The way to know for sure that this is not a puffball and is in fact a deadly mushroom is to cut it in half. A giant puffball would be perfectly smooth and white all the way throughout, but that stem and cap shape that you can see in there is how you know for sure this is a deadly destroying angel that you do not want to eat. If you found this video helpful, like it and give me a follow for more hunting and foraging tips.
Like we were saying, it's very important that you guys make sure to know your stuff, because something that could look like something that's completely safe and edible to eat can be entirely different. What were
It
you
could
going to
be
say, then?
a deadly destroying angel. Why
Yeah,
do they have to
like,
give them names like that?
because you're gonna go to heaven when you eat that, honey. Like that's why.
Just
You're
the
gonna
death
eat
mushroom.
the death mushroom, the angel mushroom. You're gonna gain your wings if you eat this stuff. Like, yeah. But like I said, it's really important, and I thought that was really cool because I didn't know. If being me, if I didn't know about an angel mushroom, I'd be like,
Yeah.
look at this cute little puffball, and then I'd
Yeah.
not be here anymore. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's just really important, and I think it's really cool. He has a lot of really cool videos aside from just like really like informative stuff. Like he's a really fun page, so if you just want to, be sure to go and check him out. All right, our next video comes, well, so I'm not entirely sure if it comes from this exact page. This is where I sourced it from. This is at Capital Club Info. I just want to make sure that since this is where I got it from, this is where we're going to be giving the credit to. But I'm really excited to jump into this next video.
I like mushrooms. Have you ever done mushrooms?
No.
Okay, you should do mushrooms. You would actually really enjoy them. I have a thesis for psilocybin mushrooms. Japanese scientists observed that there is an experiment that Japanese scientists did, and what they did is there was a labyrinth that represented the Tokyo subway system. And they planted mycelium, aka the mushroom, and they placed food on the other side of this virtual toy version of the subway system. And the mycelium, aka the mushroom, found a more optimized way of finding the endpoint, aka the food, than the engineers had crafted the Tokyo underground metro system. The entire Japanese current metro system is based on the mycelium network's movement because it is intelligent. So when you consume the mushroom, you're actually tapping into data set in truth that come from the earth.
That's crazy. That's super crazy. We talked a little bit about that in the beginning too, if you remember. We talked about how like it's like able to grow in like so many different ways, and like
Oh, yeah.
we really use it for some, like if you look inside of the computer, a lot of the times they relate a lot of that to nature, like the way cells and everything move, and
All the wiring
like
and everything. Yeah.
No, something about that just
Go
trips
for
me
it.
out. No,
Oh,
what were
yeah.
you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say it's just like wild how using something that has been doing this way longer than humans have been along, humans are like, let's eat it and see what it does for us.
Like
how many mushrooms did they have to go through and eat before they figured out which ones were the ones that actually benefited you?
They opened so many doors, some of which didn't open to anything other than the grave. But, you know, Yeah, no, I think it's really crazy. It's also just really kind of crazy because, like you were saying, mushrooms have been here for thousands and thousands of years. So if you think about it, they've had a lot longer to develop, a lot longer to be able to figure out how to be able to get into these certain ways. We, as humans, we're only able to tap into such a small amount of our actual, like, brain and like our abilities. Like, so when we eat these mushrooms, are we able to like what doors are they able to open for us aside from just being able to open like different subways or creating different paths or like, you know, or it's really cool, like I said, just of like what, and not just what nature can do for us as far as like subway systems or stuff like that, but like what it can do for us, like our bodies and like the doors it does
Long
open.
term.
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy like what it
Yeah.
does. But yeah. Anyway, on to the next video. So our next video comes from a very fitting TikToker named Mushroom Auntie, or at Chaotic Forager. She is your mushroom auntie and has a PhD, or she is a PhD student at UVA, and she is a forager. And I just thought since she is our mushroom auntie, we should, click on in.
Sounds good.
This is not a piece of beef.
It's a mushroom.
This is Fistulina hepatica,
I've seen
also
this
known
one.
as the beefsteak polypore. It may not be meat, but you can eat it. And as you can see, it bleeds. The texture is actually a lot like steak.
Yeah.
It has this beautiful
It
round
literally looks like
appearance raw
jerky.
meat.
It
And
looks like
not
It looks
only
like
can you eat
fish almost,
you
right?
can eat it raw.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
if a lemon and a mushroom had a baby.
Ugh.
Because of its citrusy notes, it actually tastes really good in ceviche. You'll find it growing on dead wood. I usually find it on stumps. Drip. Okay, but like tell me that's not a plate of filet mignon.
Drip.
So the next time you want to upset your favorite diehard carnivore, try Fistulina hepatica, the beefsteak polypore.
That's
Wow.
crazy. That looks straight
Yeah.
up like a piece of steak or like some fish, like without a doubt. And the fact that it looks like I know it's crazy, and the fact that it's literally just tastes. The ceviche one, actually, I would be totally down to try. Are you a fish liker? Do you like fish? I was like, I think I remember you saying that you're not much of a fish eater, so I don't know if you would
No.
like that, but I feel like I would be
Frank
down to try that.
does. Yeah,
Yeah?
Frank can. Yeah, he could eat some ceviche.
Oh yeah, because you don't like sushi. Yes, we've had this conversation. We don't go and get sushi as friends because you don't like it. So yeah, that's more than okay. We can't exclude you. It's not fair. So we got to make sure everybody gets to
I
eat.
mean, I
It's
can
not the
always just get a
homey way.
teriyaki bowl, but
Yeah, but that's not fun. We got to make sure. That's why I like going to when we go to Korean barbecue, because they got a little bit of everything there. So
Oh yeah, totally.
all right. Next clip. All right. Again, like one of our previous videos, this is another one that I am pulling from just the source. It is at, I'm not gonna even lie, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's
Sporify, like Spotify, but spores.
Sporify. And I was able to actually find where the original video comes from. The original video comes from the maker Paul Stathmis, and he is I totally cut the words off, but he's a something colologist, author, investor, teacher, and I can't pronounce the rest of it. But guys, be sure to go follow him at Paul Stathmis, or Paulstamets. We're gonna have that up for you guys. So I
I
don't know why
love how
spelled
he's
it.
not following anybody, but he has almost 170K followers.
I went in and actually like watched a lot of his videos after making this presentation, and he's very educational. Like he's very like, I actually really like his videos quite a lot. And I believe this video is literally just using his voice. So it's mainly an animation. So
Okay.
Terrence and Dennis both came up with a stoned ape theory. Now, it's not a theory, it's a hypothesis. But the hypothesis of the stoned ape, which I think you've alluded to before, is that with climate change and as the savannas increase and our primate ancestors came out of the forest canopies, they're tracking across the savannah. And if you're a hunter, what do you look? You look for footsteps and you look for scat. And the most significant fleshy mushroom going out of poop is Psilocybe cubensis. It's a very large mushroom. You're hungry, you're with your clan, you consume it, and then 20 minutes later, you are catapulted in this extraordinary experience. Psilocybin substitutes as serotonin, becomes a better neurotransmitter, activates neurogenesis. It causes new neurons to form, new pathways of knowledge. So that's the stoned ape hypothesis, and it speaks to a mystery that the human brain, basically the brain cavity doubled in size in about 2 million years. Some people say it's less than 200,000. And with that, our language centers increased, our ability to prognosticate, to plan. And there's no explanation for this, even though we may not be able to prove it. I ask people to suspend their disbelief for a second. Now think of this. Our primate ancestors are going across the savannah. They ingest these mushrooms as a clan. Massive input for anyone who's eaten these mushrooms. Huge amounts of data is coming in. Fractal patterns, geometrical, landscapes occur. You have empathy. You have greater courage. You're fighting a saber-toothed tiger. One day you have a fear of it. We know now from neurogenesis and the extinction of the fear response that has been clinically proven, psilocybin allows you to reset and have different neurological pathways to respond to fear, overcoming the fear conditioned response, potentially PTSD, and there's a lot of research on this currently. So I think this propelled, it's a very good explanation. It's an unprovable hypothesis. But now we're at a junction and we're ready for the next quantum leap in human consciousness.
I think it's really beautiful to watch all of those mushrooms literally
just
grow
growing
and expand like that, because it almost resembles exactly what it would do to your brain if you were to take them and just opening up other parts of your mind, opening up you to other thought processes, other concepts. It's really cool.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense how we as people really developed. If we were, ancestors from primates, if we did, eat those things, and it allowed our brains to expand and absorb more knowledge and go into deeper thinking, and to, instead of being people trying to slap two sticks together and make wood magically appear, to being able to do it like we're doing right now. We're literally even just the concept of what me and you are doing at this very moment. We are sitting on two separate sides of, I literally am in California, you're in Washington. I'm literally staring at a piece of material that, is able to, for some reason, able to contact you, and we're able to look back and forth. What if mushrooms were crazily a part of just that too? We was able to expand our minds to be able to create all of these amazing things that we have at the tips of our fingers nowadays. It's kind of crazy if you really think about it.
I mean, you have to think, every single genius out there had to been taking mushrooms at some point in their life. Otherwise, how did they come up with these obscure concepts that aren't obscure to us, because we've been living and experiencing and watching them evolve with us our entire lives? But go back to the 80s and show them something that looks like this. That's gonna be wild. Showing somebody from way back then what technology looks like now. So it all starts from somewhere.
I just thought that all those videos were really cool. When I was going down, to be honest, when I was looking up videos and content for mushrooms and stuff, there wasn't a whole lot of I know a lot of the time when we do this segment, it's a lot of the time really kind of funny and silly. We kind of do a lot of laughing, but a lot of the stuff that I found was more educational. And that's kind of where I wanted to go with it. I know when people associate mushrooms, they kind of associate them with something like the psychedelic, the trippy, the oh my goodness. And that kind of was brought up in the conversation with the last video, because they were yeah, maybe they were tripping. We laughed at the monkey that's eyes were bulging out of his head. But I feel a lot of the times a lot of people look down on it for that reason, and they're oh, that's all it does. And it's no, there's so many benefits. we said, and I've said in this episode, like it helps people who have suffered with PTSD and like people who have like, it's a really, really, she's staring at her bottle of melting forest. She's like, let me give you more
Immunity and
information.
stress management, detoxification and liver support, vitality and endurance, mental clarity and focus.
Exactly. And that's just something that like one product helps. That's not even
Yeah.
all of the different like things that mushrooms and the different types of mushrooms can do. So that's why I really kind of wanted, although like I said, this is usually a really funny segment that we do. I kind of wanted to be a little bit more informational with it because it's really important. I feel like nowadays, especially like in like the new, I don't know, I just feel like the past couple of years everybody's like obsessed with mushrooms more now. It's like an aesthetic and shit, like cottage core
Oh
is a
yeah.
thing.
They're on trend this
So
year.
oh yeah, without a doubt. So it's like everybody, please be careful. Like, in the previous one, Haley didn't even know what a puffball mushroom was. She learned about it. If we hadn't had the other ones, the next one after it, she might have grabbed a baby, apparently angel fucking mushroom. And yeah, you just
The death
gotta,
angel.
it's like, I'm sorry, what? We went
Yeah.
from a puffball, something that sounds cute and fluffy, to this.
Yeah.
Like, not good. But yeah, so I thought that was fun. I hope you guys enjoyed Rhiannon's Fun Guy Finds.
Totally. Yeah, I loved learning about all of that kind of stuff and getting to see all those different creators. So I will definitely be going to give them a follow, that's for sure. But
Yes.
talking about the dangers and also the benefits of all these mushrooms, that can bring us into our trail toadstool guide, where we can
Yes.
just give you a few tips and tricks on what you might need to know if you find yourself foraging for mushrooms on the trail one day. I know we
Mm-hmm.
plan to, so we will also be keeping these tricks in our pocket as well. But let's
Exactly.
get into a few of these tips and tricks so you guys can stay safe out there.
Exactly.
Okay, so number one, it goes to without saying, just don't pick a mushroom if you aren't 100% sure if it's safe for you or not.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely look into potentially finding a book that teaches you about mushrooms that also provides photos, because as we just learned, two mushrooms could look the exact same but have
Mm-hmm.
two completely different intentions. One could be a
Exactly.
tasty treat, one can take you out. So always do your research first.
Shroomy said, yeah, we got my eyes on you.
Next
Ah,
is the best time for mushroom foraging is going to be anywhere from late April to May, all the way through October and November in the wetter, colder months. Once it gets a little too cold, they do like to go dormant. So during the extremely cold winter months, you might not really see any, but they will come back in the spring.
yes.
So if you come across a mushroom that you have not witnessed before, it is always important to identify it before picking it up, before doing anything with it, because if you can't identify it, then it's really not worth it to dwell into that. Again, look for a book. Books are best. They
Yes.
will get you out of a lot of sticky situations. Here's some good rules to follow when it comes to mushroom foraging, and hopefully will keep you safe. Avoid
Exactly.
mushrooms with white gills, a skirt or a ring on the stem, and a bulbous or sac-like base called a vulva. You may be missing out on some good edible fungi, but it means you will be avoiding the deadly members of the Amanita family. I think I said that correct.
Okay.
Another one is avoid mushrooms with red on the cap or stem, the cutest mushroom of all, as we all know. Again, you will be missing out on some good mushrooms, but more importantly, you won't be picking the poisonous ones.
Exactly.
Finally, do not consume any mushrooms unless you are 100% sure of what they are and if they are safe for you. We have rules for a reason, you guys.
Yes, follow
It
them.
is, yes. So here are a few rules that you may have heard. Some of them may be true, some of them may not. It is okay if you can peel the cap. Well, funny thing is the death cap is actually easy to peel, so that cannot also always be true. Even if you could peel the cap, it may still be deadly to you, so I would not follow that rule. Another one is mushrooms growing on wood are completely safe. Again, this is not true. Not all of them are. Some can also still be deadly, such as the funeral bell. Okay. Lastly, if you see other animals eating that mushroom, it means it's safe. This is another misconception. Just because an animal is eating it does not mean it is safe for you. Some animals are able to eat mushrooms that are poisonous to us that end up not being poisonous to them. This was our trail toadstool guide. I hope you learned a few new rules, tips, and tricks that you can take out on the trail when going foraging for mushrooms, and we definitely learned a few tips or tricks as well.
Yes, we did. And remember, guys, like we said in the very beginning of our Trails Toadstool Guide, if you are not 100% about it, stay away from it.
Yes, and look for a book. There's so many of them out there. You can just go on Amazon and find a couple different books, and they're like pocket size too. Super easy to take on the trail with you.
And in honesty, we really need to start picking up more books nowadays.
Yes. Yeah, it's only a matter of time until everything collapses.
Yeah.
And honestly,
Alrighty.
out here on the trails out here, you don't even really get service, so you might as well just bring a book with you.
Well, I've honestly thought about starting to print my all trails maps just in case when
Yeah.
I'm like lose service, just so I could have it on in my backpack as like a extra, you never know
Yeah.
when you need it.
Yeah, a lot of trailheads out here will like have a printed trail, like have a printed map of the trails, but some of them like run out, or like the only thing I like about all trails is that you can see exactly where you're at within
Yeah.
that vicinity. So I
Exactly.
have All Trails Plus so I could download the map ahead of time. So if
That's
you
smart though.
if you can get All Trails Plus, All Trails,
Yes.
you mess us up sometimes, which it is what it is, but we love you anyways.
We still need you though. You're like a bad relationship. We can't leave. uh, just flopped my phone on the ground. That's how we'll start it now.
Okay. And again.
All right, guys. So, like we've said before in previous episodes, no matter what the topic of conversation is in our show, this is the Homies Who Hike. So, let's dive into some of the most recent hikes that we have done personally. So I have recently done a much different hike. It's kind of more like it's more known as like a walking trail. It's not really like all terrain. It's all paved, to be honest, but it is called Choyas Lake Park. It is 2.3 miles and it is in a loop, so that is really nice. If you're more into those kind of trails, I know some trails can just like end and then you got to like backtrack. Now this one isn't all the way around loop. And it's absolutely beautiful. This is a super popular trail, and it does have free parking, which is really, really nice, but it is a super small parking lot. It's not really big. And it is kind of a pain in the butt to get in and out of it. When you are driving into it and driving out of it, it is on like a really popular street, so the traffic is kind of like all crazy. And because it is super popular, there isn't a whole lot to pick from. So if you are going to go, just be mindful of that. But yeah, no, I absolutely loved it. I haven't been there. I don't even remember the last time I went to Joyous Lake, which is really sad because I kind of forget that it exists a lot of the times. And this is literally like not too far from me. It's like down the street, like in like a reality. Like if I really wanted to get there, I could go there like pretty much every day. But it's super fun. It has a lot of really cool wildlife. We saw a ton of ducks. Ducks are vicious though. I saw my first duck fight at the pond. My sons asked me, "Mommy, why is that duck ripping out that other duck's feathers?" And I'm like, I don't know, buddy. And they were just like going at it. I was like, hey, stop it. And they were like, nope. They're just like ripping.
You're like,
I
I came here for a pleasant experience, and instead I got nothing but violence.
Which is like, honestly, I had two little boys and they're always kind of like constantly, like, no matter how the age difference between them, which isn't that huge, but like they're constantly wrestling each other. To be honest, my youngest one beats up the older one more than the vice versa. So like, but yeah, they were like, what's going on? But yeah, so that was interesting. And then there's like a ton of squirrels, there's a bunch of birds, nothing like crazy, nothing like no bobcats or no deers. At least I didn't see any. There is warnings for snakes, so always if you are on the trail, be wary of that. But that's pretty much any trail you really go to. That's something you kind of just got to keep an eye out for. Some sticks aren't sticks, they're living, breathing creatures. But aside from that, aside from the many animals that you can see, and you can actually feed the ducks there too, which I think is kind of cool. I think there's even an area where you can get some feed for them, like feed that's actually like good for them to eat instead of like bread, because you really shouldn't be feeding ducks or any kind of animals bread. It does extend in their stomach and it can cause them to get really, really sick. But they also have two different parks, which I thought was cool. They're on each side of the pond or the lake. I want to say pond. It's the each side of the lake. They're really cool. They're actually really different from each other too, which is kind of interesting. One's more like rustic and just kind of it looks like it's like just made out of sticks and like something you could have built in your backyard. And then the other one's a little more modern and up to date. And that one's on the I believe that one's on the left side hand side of the park, and then the one that's a little bit more rustic's on the right hand side of the park. But they're really, really fun little attractions for your kids to do if you want to take a stop and a breather, like throughout your hike or throughout your little walk. It's really nice to be able to give yourself like some time to cool down and to maybe let your kids get some energy out. And then, to be honest, the really cool thing that I really loved about this trail was the immense amount of stuff that you can do. Aside from it having a beautiful lake that you can actually fish at and you can get bait at, there's a bait shop. I believe you can rent boats if you wanted to. I believe I saw a little boat rental area. There's also archery classes that they host over there. So while we were driving out, I got a little video. It's very hard to see. It's mostly through a gate, so I'll pop it through here, but if you guys can see it, it's very hard to see. But they were showing archery classes, and the teacher, I overheard him like when we were like walking back to the car. Like I wasn't paying super much attention. I wasn't paying a lot of attention because I was trying to get us to the car, and that can be like a journey in itself. But the guy was like super like friendly, and like he sounded like an older gentleman who was like just really like in love with what he was doing. And they have a lot of really cool things. They have an on-site what is it, why can't I remember the names? Ranger. They have on-site ranger, and they just have like a lot of really cool things that you can do. They also have areas that you can reserve for events, so if you have an area, a thing that you want to do with your friends or your kids, or if you want to have like a birthday party there, you can reserve a little nice like picnic area there. And then something that made me really, really excited was getting to see all the super cute and funny faces that they had throughout the park. It reminded me of the hikes that you talk about in Washington a lot. Which one is that one again? That you go to?
That's actually the hike that I'm going to talk about because I do it all the time because it's so close to my house. But yeah, I will throw in a clip right here of Frankie Ray literally screaming funny faces because this trail is just covered in them and she gets so excited about them. So when I saw you post that about Choyas Lake, which I've been to Choyas Lake, so that's definitely new. Parks are new. Like I think they are doing a lot of stuff to that park as of recent because it was not like that the last time I went there.
Well, I think the faces have been there because when I went there and I was like showing my mom everything because she was like, "Oh yeah, that's always been like that." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And apparently, my opa, which means grandpa in Dutch, He passed away a long time ago, but he used to go there a lot and paint. He was a painter, and apparently he used to like to stare at the faces. Like, you really have to pay attention. There's so many of them, and they're like in the sides of the hills. There's a duck one that was really cute. Like, they're really, really hidden, which I really liked and thought was like really like interesting. Like, one that when we passed by it looked just like a regular tree stump, and then you turn around and it was like, whoa, that's a face. Like, it was really cute. And like, me and Mikey ended up trying to find as many faces as we possibly could. It was a lot of fun.
It keeps them going because it like gives them something to look forward to. Like when mushrooms first started popping up on our trails, it was like we got to go find the biggest mushroom, or some days would be we got to go find the smallest mushroom. Now it's funny faces. And she will find faces and things that people didn't turn into a face. We found this tree that literally had like, it was a fallen tree that had been cut in half because it was on the trail, and it had 2 holes and literally a happy face like drilled into it almost, but then the entire thing was covered in moss, so it looked like it had a big old moss afro. It was so cute.
That's adorable. I love that. You guys should get a piece of wood and make your own face and shove it inside the woods. I think that'd be so cool. That'd be so cute.
You know, Frank actually wants to do woodworking, so maybe one day I'll be like, carve my face.
Oh wait, Mike was telling me about that. He's like, yeah, Frank's getting into that. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's really cool. But yeah, no, I loved it. I loved the faces. I really love art and like getting to see how like creative people can be, and being able to incorporate that into nature where it's not harmful in any way, because like the trees are gonna grow, and like no matter what, they're like, I don't know, just something about it was really cool, and like it made it fun for the, like I said, for my boys. And yeah, I really, really loved it. I thought it was a fun like day to just hang out with the boys and do something that wasn't like, hikes are fun, and like I like taking them out, but sometimes it can be a little much if it's like up and down and a lot of like hills, and this is a lot more of like a controlled.
And they're like, carry me, and you're like,
and I'm like,
I'm
no.
tired too.
For reals. And my youngest is a big boy, but he loved it so much. He actually started sobbing for when we were trying to get him into the car because he didn't want to leave. And he wanted to jump into the pond with the ducks because he loves ducks. That's like his favorite animal is ducks. Like, I remember one year for one of his birthdays, my mom bought him a tub of nothing but rubber ducks. And he was the happiest little boy. Like, he didn't want to play with any other toys. He just wanted his fucking ducks. And I was like, oh, okay. If I would have known that, it would have been so much cheaper than all the other shit that I just bought you. But okay.
I feel that so hard. They always end up liking the toys that are the cheapest and most simple. Meanwhile, you're like out buying them $60 scooters, and
you're freaking out about like,
whatever
I hope
else.
they like this. And they're like, no, Mom, I'd rather play with the stick. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? That shit's free. But yeah, no, I loved this hike. I thought it was a lot of fun. So if you are in the San Diego area, it's a little weird. It's kind of considered the college area, I believe, and it's also considered the Lemon Grove area. It's kind of like in the middle. It's something that if you are a native San Diegan, you're kind of used to. We kind of like, you can be in La Mesa and then San Diego like in 1 second. It's very, very easy to kind of like blur the lines. But if you guys are in that area, please be sure to check out Troyes Lake Park. Also, if you are on our Instagram or TikTok, you guys can see the video that I made for this park and give us a like.
For sure. And I would like to add, this hike can get extremely hot because there isn't an entire amount of tree coverage. So make sure to bring water.
Yes,
I've definitely gone on days in the middle of the summer and it gets really hot. But honestly, any hike in San Diego, bring water. Just always bring water.
But I do agree with what Haley said. Make sure that you are, it's a very important thing to always stay hydrated, but she is not wrong. There is some, if you see some of the videos and even in the, or the clips and in the video that I made, you're going to see trees, but to be honest, they're not really providing much shade. And the day that we went was kind of like on a colder day. Like we said, we've been experiencing rain here in San Diego. So our weather isn't true to what we normally have. Usually it's very bright, it's very sunny. So yes, be sure to always be carrying a water bottle.
All right, homies. So yet again, I went to Newberry Hill Heritage Park. It's super close to my house, so it's just an easy place to go to that I feel comfortable going to because I've been there so many times now. But I would like to say, there's a rule set for this place for a specific reason, and it's to keep your dog on a leash. When I am, out exploring with just my toddler and my dog, it can be kind of difficult at times when people don't have their dog on leash and don't really pay attention to where their dog is going. So the other day, we had a dog approach us, and the family wasn't even on the same trail as us. In fact, they were actually going the opposite direction as us because we had already passed them once before.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, so with Opal, it's just like hard because I want her to feel comfortable around the dog, but I also want to make sure that my daughter stays safe because this dog got up right in her face multiple times, which I ended up getting on video because I had my phone sitting like she was wearing a short zipper, like just a zipper at the top of the jacket. So I would just rest my phone on the inside with the pop socket kind of holding it up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I'm like, I like the POV idea, but it was kind of like a makeshift. I need to get like one of those Insta360 cameras or something, and they just wear
Oh,
like a
yeah.
right? So, yeah, I don't know. It was like a family of like 6 kids, I think, and they were all just a little bit older than Frankie, and then it was like 3 adults, maybe.
Oh,
And yeah, this
wow.
dog was just completely like had to have backtracked to us or something. And it took them a minute to like actually like respond and start calling their dog. And if I tried walking away, the dog would just follow us. And obviously
Oh,
Opal didn't want
no.
to walk away because she just wanted to make sure the dog wasn't going to follow us. And it's not like the dog was being threatening or anything like that, but it was already like 4 o'clock. Sunset's here around 4:55 p.m. I wanted to get off the trail and back to my car before the sunset, and this was delaying that process. So
Exactly.
just be mindful. If it says keep your dog on a leash, there's reasons for that. You don't know who else is on the trail with you. It could be someone that just isn't having a great time because they're hiking with their toddler, which, as much as I love it, can also still be very difficult.
It's not even just that, though. It's the simple fact that it's not just for others' safety, it's also for your dog's safety. If you think about it,
Totally.
like I know you've said that you felt like you've heard bears on these.
Oh, yeah.
And dogs' natural responses are to, not, I want to say naturally attack, but to defend themselves. And to be honest,
And their family, more importantly.
and God forbid you want to be able to grab your animal or to get your dog's attention or to be able to pull them right above beside you if you need to. And aside from animals, people are dangerous too. I've seen a lot of people who just don't have the tolerance for an animal and could do something very, very harmful to
Yeah.
your loved one, which I mean, some people don't look at animals as loved ones or as family, but I know for a fact that you and I both and a lot of other people, that is basically our second child or our other,
Oh, yeah.
half. Like, so it's just in all reality, aside from the fact that it's to be mindful of others, because you should be mindful of others, just remember, like, it's just to be safe. And not only just that, but you never know what's on the trail, whether it's a person,
Another
an
person,
animal,
an animal,
something somebody dropped, people drop a lot of
a
unnecessary,
cliff.
yeah, a cliff, drop off a cliff. Oh my God.
Well, I mean, it's not like a major cliff, but I remember when I was a lot younger, me and my parents brought our first Mastiff to Fiesta Island. And there's this part where like the sand just ends and it drops off and then it's
Oh
more
yeah.
sand. And my dog was just so excited. She was booking it and she went almost right off the
Oh
edge.
God. You're like, no. Yeah,
Yeah, and she's a
no.
big girl. She was like 180 pounds. So 180 pounds flying off that cliff, that's not happening.
Yeah, and you never know, or like something that they could eat. Like we literally talked about poisonous mushrooms. I'm not saying your dog is going to, but some dogs literally eat anything that's on the fucking ground, sometimes even
Oh yeah,
sticks. So, and even that, like it's a lot of
rocks.
just be careful.
Yeah.
And the most best and the easiest way to do that is to just keep your dog on a leash. So,
Yep.
please remember that, guys.
Oh, one more thing about this hike. I will be coming out with a super cute video soon that shows this entire hike, which is about 3 miles. So keep an eye out for that on TikTok and Instagram, which TikTok, did I just say that? Yes, I am on TikTok now as well. So you can find
Yes.
me there as Doe PNW, and there's actually some content there you won't see on Instagram. So you might as well go check it out.
Exactly. Yes, we have finally gotten our TikTok claws into Haley, and we've gotten her onto
No.
that platform. But I am so happy because you make such amazing content and everybody needs to see it, including our TikTok audience. But also, if you guys would like, you guys can now follow me at Maybe She's Hiking on TikTok as well. Those are going to be the platforms that we use for this show, as well as just whatever content that we decide to throw out. But please be sure to follow us on there, as well as be sure to follow us at the Homies Who Hike. I believe it's on Instagram and just Homies Who Hike on TikTok. But yeah, just be sure to follow us on there, guys. We finally got Haley on TikTok.
It is what
I
it
knew I
is.
would do it. It
Yeah.
is what it is.
Just 4 years late, you know.
It's okay. You didn't
Fashionably
miss
late,
anything.
right?
Exactly. And to be honest, you missed a lot of like really cringy things. So
I'm
many
glad I did. Like the
unnecessary
whole like
dances.
musically to TikTok era, like I would have never been able to participate because I don't dance. You would never catch me dancing. Even if it was poorly for comedic relief, you would not be seeing me post that.
Which is what I do. Usually it's for comically stuff. Like I'm a
Yeah.
very like, let's be an idiot, and I fucking will dive into that. It's not really your forte though.
Yeah. I just saw Opal trying to lick off of Frank's plate that he left on the counter. We had burgers. Yeah.
Ooh, see,
She
I
was
totally
like,
get that. She said that smells
that's the good
good.
stuff. Yeah, that's the good stuff.
I'll be putting kibble in my bowl and not fucking burgers. I feel gypped.
Opal, walk away from it. Walk
She said, "You
away.
walk away." She said, "Just don't look
Do
at
you
me."
want to come say hi? Come here. Come here.
Say hi.
Come here.
Say, we talk about you so much on this show. I showed my stuffed animal. She must now show her actual animal.
No, you gotta sit up. Okay, ready?
Sit. Say hi,
Here we
Opal.
go.
Our fuzzy friend. We were just talking about you.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us again, homies. We had a lot of fun learning about new things about mushrooms and hope you all learned some new things too. Also, thank you again to Melting Forest for sending out the gummies and the drinks. I can't wait to try these drinks tomorrow. I mean, I don't know about both on the same day, but one is for energy and one is to de-stress. It seems like they go hand in hand.
Right.
I will also be trying these sleeping gummies right now that I think about it. Let's go ahead and
So
get
you might
this.
as well pop one of those in while you can, right? We're about
Literally
to
11.
Yeah, we record these episodes very late, guys. Okay, we are dedicated homies to the cause.
This is prickly pear. This is actually so good. I'm
Yeah,
usually
is it
not a
like
big pear
sugary?
person, but it is a little sugar coated. Not enough to where it's like sour. And I'm usually not a pear person, but I like pear flavored like candies.
Oh yeah.
You can't even taste like any of the mushroom or any of that kind of stuff. It just tastes like straight up like sweet pear. That's really good.
I'm gonna have to get my hands on some melting forest.
Yeah, 100%. Okay. So yes, thank you again, Melting Forest. That was super yummy, and I am sure that I'm going to sleep soundly tonight because I have been stressed out. Okay. Anyways, now that I took that, I'm gonna head to bed, as so should you and your little mushroom friend. And we hope you guys, learn something new and get a good night's sleep whenever you're watching this, I suppose. And we'll see you guys next time. So remember to pack it in, pack it out, leave no trace. And until next time, homies, have a good day or night.
Bye.
Bye.